So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage, so then we can understand the time of the end as per Yeshayahu the prophet. We find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Mashiach laid waste for many centuries. As we read then Yeshayahu, there is a section of this particular prophecy found in chapter 11 and verse number 11 of those places where then the Yod He Vav He Galah has revealed then for his people. So then the new era of the second extension of his hand is then performed. Let's then take a moment and understand a section of this holy prophecy, because not only this, there is a portion in Psalm 87 stating also on the land of Cush. The Yod He Vav He, the mighty, and the person involved with this prophecy has chosen during this time the remnant of his people. They are living in some of these places. Obviously, when we understand Shavout, we understand that Peaseach is then taking place this moment. We understand that the lunar view is 99%. Obviously, it is the time of Peaseach, and the lunar view is total 100% at this point in time. Let's then make an evaluation as far as what the nation did when they left then Mitzrayim, or then Egypt, and went to the land of Midian. What was then the influence of these people? What was then the influence of Jethro, the father-in-law of Yehoshua? As we read then these holy prophecies, many people they understand that Mount Sinai was in Egypt, but obviously the Mount Sinai that is spoken of was in Midian, because there was then already an elderly person there that had contact with the Eternal, and he was able then to use this particular prophet, as then obviously Yeshayahu mentioned of this particular point of the restoration period, and also from where this restoration started with then the understanding of Jethro then mentoring Yehoshua. Contrary to what so many people believe, because of the Greco-Roman translation of the Holy Instructions, we understand a section of these prophecy related with Jethro as then a person that walked with the Eternal. Not only this, we understand a point where then the people not directly going up to Canaan, but then going down to Midian and spending many years until they were able to get themselves educated, and then going up, and then obviously making habitation on the land of Canaan after then the other nations were then destroyed. During this time of the restoration period, not only we read in Yeshayahu 11, but there is a section in Yeshayahu chapter 1:8 stating precisely sections of this area, modern Sudan and Ethiopia, where then his people are then preparing themselves for the second extension of his hand. Very importantly, these people at this point in time, they do observe in the spirit. They can understand very plainly the importance of this point in time. Ruach HaKodesh obviously was given during the time of Acts, the second chapter, because those were the acts of Ruach HaKodesh, known as the Spirit. Was a prophecy of Yoel that was then pertinent for this point in time. Galah later on reveals then the second extension of his hand as the second anointing. So then the first yet must be restored, so then the second then is given. Also, the revelation indicates the first service and the second service. We do know that the holy instructions, as we are then reading, these instructions are very specific, and the Eternal has asked, because these people wanted obedience, then they can read and obey as per the instructions of Mehoshua. During this time, then, we make a very important study regarding then the New Testament, or then simply the completion of the spring feast, known as then Vaikra, the 23rd chapter, where we understand the way then the Eternal has decided of talking with his people and maintaining relationship through his feasts. We are then making a very important study, because during the time of Yeshayahu 11, we find then that in Ethiopia, those remnant, they are there for centuries, awaiting for the spirit of time. Then the Eternal is obviously releasing the opening of this knowledge, so these people then can understand that they are the chosen people for this period of time of the restoration, where then later Ethiopia then brings a gift to Jerusalem, and then the prophecy comes through. Not only this, there is also the route or the route that takes place from Ethiopia up to Canaan. Now is obviously the nation of Yashurun, because this nation must bear the Eternal's name in it. So then, reading from this perspective, what are then the areas that the people must be tuned with the Eternal, so that they can understand what the Spirit is saying during this time of the restoration period? We know for sure there are a couple of layers related with this. The first, obviously, is the first releasing of the Spirit, and known as then the first extension of his arm, and then the second extension that we are prior of experiencing. Later we're going to make an evaluation what these can do as far as revelation and what it's leading towards, because people, they are searching for answers, but not everybody wants to become obedient. And then Enoch walked with the Eternal. It was a lifetime experience of knowledge, understanding, reading, and also of relationship. But this relationship must be then exercised via the Torah, 100% Hebrew, and then later on they can understand a portion of the Spirit that went on to other nations, indicating then the presence of this promised person by Mehoshua himself. Though Mehoshua was not Ben Yosef, he was then a person that put the nation at liberty, and today obviously we are celebrating then the time where then the nation left Mitzrayim and went to Midian. So then Jethro and Mehoshua could then start a quest of teaching these people and preparing them for later travels up north, and obviously conquering Canaan for the purposes of indicating the kingdom to come. So next time I'm going to evaluate the presence of these people in Canaan, and also the presence of these people in Midian, so then we can understand these situations as then divine given routes until then they reach the promised land. So please stay tuned, much more coming up.